The 2017 IndyCar season for Scott Dixon started with consistency, scoring 5 consecutive top 5 finishes. But just as the New Zealander took pole at Indy, poised to win his second 500, misfortune struck hard. And again in Texas. 2 weeks ago, Dixon climbed his way back and won at Road America, increasing his points lead to 34 over last year's champion Simon Pagenaud. With 7 races left, time is running out for the rest of the field to catch the 4-time champion on a drive for number 5. It's the Iowa Corn 300. Shortest track of the season, 7/8 of a mile, Iowa Speedway. Great to be with you. We are nearly prepared to go. Before we can, let's go trackside.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome President of Iowa Corn Promotion Board, Larry Cleaver, to give the command.
Drivers, start your corn ethanol-powered engines.
Front 2 rows, 2 Penske's on the bottom side. Top side is the 2 Vuzzies vodka cars with J.R. Hildebrand in the front. It's IndyCar from the heartland, Iowa Speedway. Let's go!
Graham Rahal moves high. He's going to go for the high line first. His car was really good in warm-up. You got 3 guys, 3 abreast back there with Pagenaud.
Watching everybody fan out, there is J.R. Hildebrand inside of Castroneves, trying to make a move. Castroneves has the advantage. Big wiggle back there. I think that was Marco Andretti.
Castroneves got the better of J.R. Hildebrand, not the start that J.R. wanted. We have Will Power sitting on the front, followed by his teammate, and then both of the Carpenter cars.
That was Alexander Rossi, I believe, with big slide out of turn 4. Hunter Ray, his teammates all over him.
And that's Ed Carpenter in 3rd position, so he got around his teammate J.R. Hildebrand. So it's the 2 Penske's with Power and Castroneves, then Carpenter, Hildebrand, and then Sato is the best of the Hondas running in 5th.
Already a gap to the back group here. These guys falling off the tail of the pack, and if you fall too far back, you will quickly get sucked up by the leaders. Graham Rahal on the high side on Ryan Hunter-Ray. He's moving forward, but Ryan Hunter-Ray is moving forward because he started way behind Graham Rahal.
We talked to Rahal this morning. He said the high line through turns 1 and 2 is good if you're way high. If you're mid-track, you're going over the bumps, and it's a handful, so you've got to pick low or high in turn 1, and now the ECR boys are going at it.
And Carpenter looking at his teammate, he goes to the low line. JR in the middle of the track. They say the middle groove is bumpy, the high groove is smooth, the low groove is smooth. So watch these guys move around, and as these tires wear, they're going to be trying to find any possible grip that they can get.
Scott Dixon has already picked up 4 spots from 17th to 13th. We saw Ryan Hunter-Ray. There you see him right there. He's just in front of Dixon. Hunter-Ray has picked up a few spots as well, running in 12th after starting in 15th.
Huge understeer from Scott Dixon across the apex of turn 1. You can see the car bouncing through those bumps, and the line is going to fan out as Alexander Rossi looking to the high side of Graham Rahal. Just going to say the line is going to fan out as the tires wear. The radius is going to grow in the corner. We ride on board with Kanan, and you're going to see this all night long, guys.
That's a bucking bronco right there. He's riding a horse that doesn't want to go. And you see how far Pagenaud pulled away from him just in one corner.
Pagenaud in the bright yellow Menards car got around Kanan. There's Kanan back there in 9th. That yellow Gale car is Graham Rahal scooting up a little bit on the high side, and it's Rossi that's behind him. Now Rahal has the run on Kanan.
A big run. He used the upper groove. Now he's on the lower groove, but he got a big run coming off of 2. Slides up in front of Kanan, gets him loose, and the lotion's now all over the back of Rossi's all over the back of Kanan. He goes by easily.
And now watching Alexander Rossi looks incredibly strong. Don't forget, his engineer, Jeremy Millis, is the same guy that took Joseph Newgarden to a dominant win last year. If Rossi has the same sort of handling Newgarden had last year, he could be really tough.
TK's in big trouble. He's falling like a stone to the bottom of the lake. Guys are going by him like he's standing still. So you can see his hands in the car. He's so loose. Can he hang on to this thing, or is he going to be the first yellow, Townsend?
Well, we've been watching Mikhail Aloshin make his way up through the field. That's him in the red Lucas Oil car in 4th, challenging Ed Carpenter for 3rd. We knew Mikhail would be fun to watch.
Yeah, and Mikhail Aloshin's been quietly confident about his car the entire weekend. He kind of just smirked when I asked him, do you think you have a good race car? He just smiled and said, we'll be good.
Well, for Mikhail Aloshin, he's got to get to the end first. You know, some of the short ovals, he's been a little too aggressive too early. Looking at another guy who also thinks he has a great race car, and he's proven it. Graham Rahal, super fast in the final practice. He's been very quick, and he's always a good racer,
yes,
Paul.
Hildebrand now is falling back. He's back to 6th now. He's gotten Rahal's gotten by him. Hinchcliffe is now right on the back of Hildebrand. But Castro Neves is really kind of set sail. He's got about a 2-second lead on Power. Carpenter has had a hard time getting by Power. He made some moves on him, but couldn't get it finished. And Aloshin is the guy who's moving forward right now.
And this is Helio Castroneves, the leader, getting set to lap Carlos Munoz, who's running in 19th right now. And Munoz is the subject of our Chevy driver profile. Like so many, started karting when he was a kid, has many other interests, loves Spa, loves Senna, and this guy is a superstar in the right situation on big tracks. Second 2 times at the Indianapolis 500, another finish of 4th, I believe. And Carlos Munoz has been quick, but he and the Foyt team struggling again here this week. And Connor Daly is just in front of him, his teammate in the green helmet, the other Foyt car.
And Kevin, Ryan Hunter has been so frustrated with that car all weekend long, and what frustrates him most is he knows he can be fast here. He's a 3-time winner here, but he said since they changed the race to the daytime, he has not been able to find that sweet spot on the car, so they threw everything but the kitchen sink at it last night. He is a lot happier today as you see him charging through the field.
And he got one more spot up to 7th, got around Hinch just a moment ago.
Just watching these two, Dixon and Newgarden. They're sitting in 11th and 12th right now. 11th and 12th for Dixon and Newgarden. And not much they can do, Paul. They're sort of locked into that dirty air, sort of frozen in position right now, probably just tuning on the car, waiting for the round of pit stops to see if that's a way to get track position.
Yeah, the most important thing for these 3 guys right here, Sato, Dixon, and Newgarden, is not to go a lap down, because Castro Neves is lapping around at 19.5, and these guys are at 20.2, 20.3. So they got to be careful not to go a lap down. But there's Pagenaud just in front of them. So all these 4 guys are all championship contenders, and they're all racing each other.
Currently lapping almost 3 seconds slower, the field is, than a qualifying pace around here at Iowa. It's racing a lot like a stock car race in the middle of this tire stint. If you just hear how much off throttle they are in the corners, a lot of driving going on out there.
Well, you got to question whether these guys, when they do their first pit stops, do you go out and go hard and try to go fast, or you start out slow and conserve your tires? So as we see the onboard with Hinch,
let's just listen to the throttle.
Listen to the throttle on this car.
#100th career start for James Hinchcliffe.
Think about a little bit of wing.
And he's given feedback already. Lap 56, in the next 10 laps to 15, we'll see everybody hit pit lane. He's given some feedback now. You can see the understeer. You can see how long he has to hold steering in before he can roll the throttle back on.
Well, having a little bit of understeer is better than being snapped loose, that's for sure. So he's hanging on to his position. As we see Castro Neves, he's still trying to get by Carlos Munoz. He's been working on him for a long time. But we have a big crash in turn 2, and it looks like it might be Aloshin.
Oh, boy. We just talked about this. I said Aloshin, he's got a good car. He has to get to the end of one of these races. He was running 4th.
Yeah, guys. I'm sorry about that.
As we watch Mikhail, he floats it into the corner, hits that bump, and it just gets loose. He buries the throttle to try to get it to spin all the way around. But it was going for the wall.
And here we go. Pits are open. Here they come, and we start with Anders Krohn.
It's been a pretty solid run so far for J.R. Hildebrand. No big comments for him. He's just going to add a turn of front wing, and he's going to be on his way with 4 new tires. Katie?
And Ed Carpenter was happy with the car in the beginning of the run, but it kept getting worse, so you can see them there adding a turn of front wing into that 20 car. Jan?
And no changes for Castro Neves or for Will Power right behind him. And easily, Castro Neves gets out ahead of Will Power. Again, no changes for the Penske cars. They like how they're performing, obviously.
Graham Rahal comes out 3rd. The 2 Fuzzies cars for Ed Carpenter Racing nearly together in 4th and 5th. Green again at Iowa Speedway, and Ed Carpenter going to the inside of Graham Rahal, trying to grab 3rd place.
Everything resets now. Brand new Firestone tires. Big grip equals big confidence. This is your chance to make some moves.
It's a pretty spread out restart. Guys got single file pretty quick. I was expecting some more action. These restarts, the yellows breed yellows, but these guys are back up to speed right away as Ed looks on the inside, way high up the track. It's Graham Rahal using that top line to carry momentum down the straightaway. Ed pulls ahead in the bottom, but as you see, he's going to have some momentum as he gets him clean there.
So Carpenter gets the spot, moves into 3rd ahead of Rahal. Let's check in with Robin.
Hello, Mikhail, you're running 4th. You made a great save a few laps before you spun. Tell us what happened.
Well, I had a really loose car all day, and I was just holding for my life there all this first stint, and I don't know how many times I showed my saves, but it was almost every lap. And then suddenly, at the last lap, I just it went, and I just couldn't do anything. You know, it was just impossible to react.
Well, we're glad you're okay, kid. Kevin.
All right, thank you, Robin. Tough one for Mikhail Ocean and Schmidt Peterson Motorsports. They've still got James Hinchcliffe in the running in 10th.
As we go on board with Hinchcliffe.
Hinch is going to make a move on Carpenter here, even though he's a little bit loose coming off the corner. I saw that wheel snap a little bit coming off of turn 2. And but he's looking at the high line to try to get a run on Ed right here.
We're into the 10 laps of terror right now, guys. This is the range where a Lotion couldn't hang on. And there's another terror moment for Hinchcliffe.
That's exactly what I said the lap before. He came off a 2 and it snapped out from underneath of him, and that one was even worse. So he lost some ground to Ed.
This type of racing is so fascinating because just because you're quick at some point, as we watch 2 NTT Data Ganassi cars going at it, Dixon in the 9, Kanaan in the 10. That's a battle for 10th position. You can be good at one stint, and you can be really bad a few laps later.
And you're walking a tightrope here. If you're Tony Kanaan or Scott Dixon, you can see another car struggle, and it's so tempting to make a bold move in that moment, but you're also hanging on, and it can let go at any second on you.
He's also got to be very, very careful because he knows this is his teammate, his best buddy, and the championship leader, and he knows that he's got to try to help Scott as much as possible. And that's how this Ganassi team works. This team works a lot for Scott, but Tony Kanaan got by clean, but he definitely has to be careful around Scott.
Caution at Iowa Speedway for the 2nd time, and it looks like there's some wing damage for Carlos Munoz, who rolls down the pit lane. J.R. Hildebrand remains up front. Then it's Will Power, Elio Castroneves, Graham Rahal, and Ryan Hunter-Reay.
And guys, J.R. Hildebrand was very happy with that 1 turn of front wing. He's going to add another half a turn of front wing for fresh new tires and be on his way. Katie?
And Ryan Hunter-Reay was battling some sort of tire issue during that stint, so they were debating on just how much front wing to take as you see the team going around for 1 full turn of front wing, Jan.
And for Will Power, they're debating whether and they do go for a little bit of front wing. That's a 6.7 stop. He got all the Sunoco fuel, but he loses a couple of spots on the pit road.
It's Elio Castroneves getting out ahead of J.R. Hildebrand. Will Power comes out 3rd. So Castroneves picks up 2 spots on pit road. Hildebrand, Power, Hunter-Reay gains 1, Rahal, Hinchcliffe.
I'll tell you what, these Penske guys, you cannot beat their guys in the pits. They are always, Townsend, consistently about a second quicker than all the other crews. Most of the time, guys are in the 7s, 8s. These guys are consistently in the 6s.
Rolling back through it, it's Castroneves, Hildebrand, Power, Hunter-Reay, and they're dodging for positions. It's Power going to the high side for 2nd.
Once again, all these guys go from hanging on and praying to being up in their seat and charging. This is the time again, making positions on fresh tires.
Hunter-Reay, Graham Rahal, side by side, all the way around the corner. They're going to go all the way down the front straight, and Graham gets the position on Hunter-Reay.
Further back, we saw Pagenaud and Carpenter. Still see them side by side. The bright yellow cars on the bottom side. Ed Carpenter up top. Pagenaud will grab that position. That is for 8th.
Doesn't look like J.R. Hildebrand is as strong on fresh tires, but he knows if he makes it to the end of the stint, that's where he really makes his money today. Graham Rahal right up in the back of Hildebrand, and here comes Kanaan.
I think if Hildebrand's going to win this race, I think you've got to anticipate there's going to be a late caution, and you're going to need to be racy on a green-white checker type finish. So he's definitely got to get his restarts down a little bit better than that.
Wow, Ed Carpenter washing through the back of Tony Kanaan up ahead. And he's really still struggling to figure out how to get the speed that his teammate has.
Carpenter's already lost 2 spots on this restart as we watch J.R. Hildebrand in the green Fuzzies car. The yellow Gale car is Graham Rahal right behind him. They're battling for 3rd position. The red flag is being displayed. So maybe the rain is coming down harder. It's an interesting dynamic. We've seen sunshine. It's still 90 degrees, but still spitting. And the pace car is leading the field down onto pit lane, and we are going to see a red flag in just a moment. I'll say this, good for fans, because we're going to see more racing.
I don't think this is a bad call because the laps go by so quick here under yellow. I mean, you can basically take 30 laps away just waiting for these raindrops to go away. We had some big raindrops, so instead of running under yellow, we decided to stop here, and we're going green again, guys.
Back at it with Castro Neves, Power, Hunter-Reay, Rahal, and then Hildebrand looking to the bottom side, trying to grab 4th position over Rahal. Can't get it done right there.
Hildebrand had a bad stop. He lost a couple positions. They can't afford that on this last stop. They're going to have to nail one. They can't afford to lose 2 or 3 positions on the final stop with only 40, 50 laps to go. So look at these 2 guys, the full moon. These 2 guys are at it again, Townsend.
Further back, it was 3 wide as the cars that elected to take fresh tires are pushing hard. There's Joseph Newgarden making a move on Carpenter.
And in front of them in his first oval race ever is Esteban Gutierrez running in 8th position. That's Newgarden going to the bottom side of his former boss and getting around Ed Carpenter. And that is for 9th.
Tell you what, Gutierrez is holding his own right behind a guy who's got so much experience, Tony Kanaan. The best thing for him to do is just sit there and watch and try to stay in your position because this is a phenomenal race for him.
There we see Newgarden going around Gutierrez, now up to 8th position. So Joseph Newgarden knows he needs to make moves now.
Well, that's fresh
while the tires are prime.
Yeah, fresh tires against used tires. So these 2 guys, again, like Texas, they are tied together and they have some history together. So watch these 2 guys fight as Newgarden closed the gap on them immediately on those fresh tires.
Already up 4 positions to 8th, now working on Kanaan for 7th. But Kanaan is going to take a look to the bottom side of the Aero car of James Hinchcliffe.
He pushes up, he got some Aero push. Newgarden got a nice run, so he'll dive down the inside. Man, I think that was a good call by Cindric to take those tires. Look at how loose Tony Kanaan is.
Newgarden was in 6th position when they pitted him off strategy for fresh tires. He's now up to 7th. 1 more position, he'll be back to par with 25 lap fresher tires on the top 5 cars.
And with Kanaan, you also see what happens when you attempt to make a pass and it doesn't work. You lose all your momentum, and then you likely lose positions.
The only guy that's been able to make this work, Townsend, is Newgarden, because everybody else, Pagenaud, everybody else that came in with him has really not been able to do anything with the traffic.
But the problem here is you're pressing very hard if you're Joseph Newgarden, and you're actually going to wear the tires a little quicker because you're trying to force it in the moment. He almost has Hinchcliffe there. They'll be side by side down in turn 3. There goes Newgarden. Now further back, Scott Dixon is struggling to make those fresh tires work. He's sitting in 13th position and hasn't been able to charge through like Newgarden just did.
Well, he's been in 12th to 13th the whole race from the start. He has not even made any progression at all. He hasn't fallen any further back, but he's really gone nowhere other than 11th, 12th, and 13th the whole race.
Nearing 50 laps remaining at Iowa Speedway. Anytime you pit, it will be the last pit stop of this 300-lap event. The Iowa Corn 300. Thanks for joining us on NBCSN with Townsend Bell, Paul Tracy, Jan Beekes, Katie Hargett, Anders Krohn, and Robin Miller. I'm Kevin Lee. A lot of side-by-side action as we continue with Scott Dixon going to the low side of James Hinchcliffe.
James Hinchcliffe does not want to give it up, but this is the situation as we just saw. We saw J.R. Hildebrand pit early. If a crash happens, he's 2 laps behind.
He's toast under that situation. Now, Scott Dixon has about 25 laps further he can go than James Hinchcliffe. So now with that pass right there, Scott Dixon has the opportunity to close with Joseph Newgarden, who's on the same strategy, and Simon Pagenaud. So Scott Dixon 6 seconds back right now, but he's got clean air.
So we've seen both of the Ed Carpenter racing cars make their stop. First Hildebrand, then Carpenter. Here comes Castroneves, and that's Hunter Ray coming right behind him. Also Hinchcliffe getting set to pit.
Castroneves is taking his sticker Firestones and Sunoco, and we not expect any changes, no changes up front. That's a quick one, but the time from when it was dropped off to Jax to when he left, he definitely lost some time.
Well, it was still an 8-second stop, so it was slower than their normal stuff, but still quicker than Hunter Ray.
And we have Tony Kanaan coming into the pits. He's going to put 4 fresh tires on. No change to the front wing plan there on that 10 car.
And there is the effective leader of the race. He's going to get around Charlie Kimball, who has not made his stop yet. But there's Helio Castroneves. Can he use the Kimball pick to get back in front? This is essentially a battle for the lead, and now it will be. Hildebrand to the bottom side.
Castroneves backed off of that. He saw some danger and backed off of it. He had a run at him. Charlie peels it off to the pit lane. But Hildebrand's got a little bit of breathing room. He had some traffic there, Townsend, but now is the time that he has got to hang on till the end of the race. He's got the clear road ahead. He's got to use this traffic and use it the right way and keep this 42-year-old behind him.
That was the move, I believe, for JR to win this race. He had to be bold. He needed to do something and take a risk to get around Kimball because he has the strongest car over a long stint.
So there's got some traffic right here with these Andretti cars.
And Paul, I think Castroneves has to push right now. He can't afford to let Hildebrand get away on a long run.
He just got the nose. He got the nose chopped off of him from Rossi. He went down the inside, and that was just bad timing. He went down the inside of Rossi, and Rossi turned in on him, and that really cost him.
Marco Andretti up ahead.
But he's coming back.
Marco's on old tires.
And Castroneves goes around Andretti, and he's back in front. Hildebrand will move to second. They've been dealing with lap traffic, and Helio back to the front, looking to win for the first time in over 3 years, and he has no more stops to go. Inside 10 to go at Iowa Speedway. Helio Castroneves continues to stretch his lead by more than 3 seconds now. Team Penske also poised potentially for their first win at Iowa Speedway.
If he gets across the line with the checkered flags, there's going to be a lot of tears flowing out of the eyes of Castroneves, and you can guarantee he'll run straight for the fence. So let's hope he can hold it together here for the next 8 laps.
Well, it'll be well earned. He's driven flawlessly today. That track temperature now down to 107 degrees. It's cooling fast, and it really seems to advantage Castroneves. He's going faster and faster than Hildebrand in second position.
Cars are spread out now for him. He doesn't have a lot of traffic, so he can take his time. He's got a nice gap built up, almost 4 seconds now, and he doesn't have a lot of traffic, like I said, so he can afford to take his time now and not make any mistakes.
Helio Castroneves has led well over 2/3 of this race. 211 laps led today. We saw a similar beatdown by Joseph Newgarden, even more so last year. James Hinchcliffe led well over 200 laps back in his win in 2013 here.
Just watching those bright red gloves from Castroneves. The car looks very well balanced, a lot of precision in the hands, just driving to the limit of the front tires, not trying to force anything as Roger Penske looks on.
I'm looking at the times right now. He's got Andretti in front of him. Andretti's running a 19.1 and Castroneves a 19.5, so he really doesn't even have to pass him. He's got a big healthy lead now. It's down to 3.2 from 3.9, but he doesn't really have to push the issue now because the pace is kind of evened out for everybody.
3.5 laps to go for Helio Castroneves. That's JR Hildebrand, more than 3 seconds behind. Under 3 now for Spider-Man.
You know, ever since Penske asked him to conserve tires, he's been working the high line, staying off the bottom, giving the tires a break with the longer radius, and it's really paid off.
I think this win will mean a lot for Roger Penske, too. He and Helio have a very special relationship. They've worked together for so many years. Castroneves is a lap and a half away from breaking the drought.
His lead now at 4 seconds over second place.
And we're poised for our 9th different winner of the season. Graham Rahal and Joseph Newgarden are still going at it for 5th position. White flag for Helio Castroneves. Under a mile to go to win for the 30th time in his career. On the backstretch, J.R. Hildebrand is nearly 4 seconds in arrears. Castroneves, 2 more turns to go. Checkered flag, win number 30. It stops a more than 3-yard drop, and Castroneves squarely is in the championship hunt.
Oh, guys! Yes! Finally!
We're at 17 laps led, and Helio Castroneves wins for the first time since 2014.
I wonder if he can remember how to climb.
I think he can remember how to climb, and like I said earlier in the race, I think this is going to open the floodgates again for him to start winning again, because like I said, when you go a long time, you start to question whether you can get the job done anymore, and he certainly got it done today. His team said you dominated. I would expect him, it's going to be a showdown between him and Dixon the rest of the year.
The championship difference is 8 points right now, but that's not on the mind of Helio Castroneves. It's winning for the first time in 3 years. Listen to the crowd.
Helio, we'll let you get your helmet off here, but we are dying to get your thoughts on finally making it here and climbing that fence.
I wasn't young as I used to be. I tell you what a car. Hitachi Chevy was unbelievable. Oh my goodness. What a great car, what a great team. What can I say, man? what a race. I'm speechless. I want to thank obviously RP and those guys, Cindric, and my engineer, my group number 3, and my teammates, man, because we are working so hard together. But Hitachi Chevy was running, man, on rails. I mean, I'm talking about put on the outside. We had a little bit of issue in the beginning, but after we set up the car, it's great. What a great feeling. It's just like the first time, man. Oh, man, this is awesome. Woo.
Just before the start of the race, there was speculation. You were asked about your future, and your answer was, what I need to do is win today and then win the championship. When you said that, did you think you had this good of a shot?
Listen, we've been close so many times, and finally our luck was a little bit on our side. We didn't have a problem with the yellow. Car was on it. You know, everything what happened behind the scene is behind the scene. I'm just so honored to be part of this organization. A great group of guys. So now TC, all the Penske drivers won, man. That's for you, man. But it was awesome.
Now, it's a big day for the team as well. Obviously, you talk about each one of the drivers having the win. I know how emotional you are, but for a team like Penske, here come the teammates, Simon Pagenaud. This is a close-knit crew. They know how long it's been for Helio, and they knew this day would come at some point. I do have to ask you, we knew this day would come at some point, but did you? Did you start to doubt whether you'd have another win?
Oh no, I never doubt. That's actually wasn't not even in my thoughts, especially with those guys. I have to say, great support and special team Penske. They never gave up on me, and we've been always there. We were always good, and I'm glad RP is back. Great strategy, and man, what a day, guys! I'm telling you, this is like so cool. It's like I'm winning for the first time. Oh boy, this is amazing. I just want to thank the Lord, obviously, to give me strength, to give me power, and but I have to thank the team. And Hitachi's car was so on rails today. It's not about, believe it or not believing. It's about having everything happens on the right time. We didn't put a wheel wrong, even through traffic. We didn't panic when the car was a little bad. I tell you guys, gotta keep digging. Let's keep working on it.
All right, his 30th win, go celebrate. He's done a lot of that already.
Well, a very significant day today. at Iowa Speedway. Team Penske had never won. More notable, Helio Castroneves, one of the all-time greats, had not won in 3+ years. He got the lead early on his teammate Will Power and led 217 laps, giving the captain his first win at Iowa. And we see Castroneves climb the fence for the first time since Detroit in 2014. The party will continue. Thanks for joining us from Iowa Speedway. Congratulations to Helio Castroneves.
Up next, it's July 16th's Honda Indy Toronto as the Verizon IndyCar Series heads north to Canada.